This is Access Tech Live.
Now, this is Access Tech Live. Now, Mark, you are in Halifax. Now, here in the UK, that is known as a bank, but I believe in Canada it's known as a city. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, it's a city in Nova Scotia. It's on the eastern side of Canada. You didn't hit this on your trip across Canada? I'm surprised, Stephen.
No.
Don't most people just come to Halifax and make their way across country?
Well, maybe they do. I didn't, because I went to Toronto, which I believe is a favoured part of Canada.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm just trying to get in with Dave Brown there, you see.
Okay, well, fine. You know what, Stephen, right next to me, on either side of me, to my left is Jenny Bovard, the host of Low Vision Moments. She's actually the reason we're in Halifax, because she lives here. And instead of bringing her somewhere, we said, let's bring the whole party to her. Jenny, thanks for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for bringing the party.
And on the other side of me, Stephen, is Dave Brown. You may know him from the host of Now with Dave Brown, of course, on AMI this morning. You had fun this morning, Dave?
Always have a fun time hanging out with you guys.
Okay, now I need you to help me here, okay? We're here for International Albinism Awareness Day. Tell me about the significance of this day. Either of you can fight to start.
You go first, Dave.
Okay, there we go.
What I've been grappling with is trying to figure out where my experience blends itself with the international experience. Albinism comes with a lot of the typical stigmas and barriers that a person with a disability is going to face in the North American context, but the global picture is a different one. It's a significant human rights story about violence that people with albinism face around the world, abandonment, killing of children, mutilation. This is an understanding of celebrating our own experiences, but raising awareness about what people like us are experiencing elsewhere in the world.
Jenny, same feeling to you?
I totally agree with Dave, but I think for me, it's a bit more of like, now I have a bit of a platform or two where I feel like I can participate in Albinism Awareness Day like I couldn't before. Before, my perception of the day was very much like, the people who are out there doing the work, who are changing policy and changing laws to protect those folks who need protection from violence in other places other than Canada primarily. I didn't feel like I had a place really with Albinism Awareness Day until recently. So now I feel like I can be more involved, and having these conversations I think is really meaningful.
I want to tell you guys a quick story, because this weekend I was at a gathering for a friend's birthday, and of course people saying, when's your next trip? You know, because I tend to travel a lot. And I said, I'm going to Halifax. And they go, oh, well, what's in Halifax? I said, well, we're going to do some broadcasts for International Albinism Awareness Day. And believe it or not, and I'm always surprised by this, but people say, albinism, what's that? And I went into details, and they realized, of course, they know what albinism is. But how would you describe albinism to someone who isn't aware?
I like to describe it as a genetic difference, and I tend to get into the details. Like, it's a genetic difference. We are born with this condition, and it does come with, as Dave said, it comes with often disability, it comes with a visual impairment or legal blindness, and it does come with, unfortunately, some barriers in everyday life when it comes to accessing employment, really just accessing the world around us, right? And that's obviously where technology comes in and plays a big part as well.
Stephen?
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, Jenny, because I wanted to pick up on that. I mean, one of the commonalities, it would appear to me anyway, of albinism is low vision. I had many friends at school who had albinism, and of course they were with us in the visual impairment unit in school. And we never really talked about the albinism, we talked about the vision. How does tech help you guys as a result? And I put that to both of you.
It's an interesting question, because tech has evolved so much in my life that a lot of the solutions that were more high-tech that were presented to me in my youth, like a CCTV to blow up font or read more efficiently, I just never liked, because they were clunky and unruly and non-portable. So, Stephen, I was making a lot of choices early in my life, all the way into my early adult life, where I was using things like a magnifying glass or a telescope as my primary coping devices or my primary accessibility devices. But since the advent of the smartphone, I find that I'm using that as my primary accessibility device because it serves as a telescope with the camera function. It serves as a magnifying glass with zoom function. For whatever reason, the cell phone the smartphone specifically has been one of the ultimate accessibility devices that was not thought of as such as it was being created.
Yeah, absolutely.
My experience
Jenny,
is very much the same as Dave. Yeah, very, very similar experience growing up. I rejected all of the technology, all of the magnification, and I could have been a much more efficient and probably overall better student if I had embraced those things. But like Dave, up until the advent of the smartphone and GPS and your Google Maps, I was using MapQuest to get around.
Oh my God.
And I love that it's just a much more seamless experience now. Everyone's got a smartphone. It's not a big device that you need to carry around. Another thing for me that I love, and I'm a little underwhelming when you ask me about tech most of the time.
Oh, come
guys.
on.
I'm a little basic, but I just love my Apple Watch because it's that seamlessness. Until I got it, I had never been able to glance at my watch and check the time. And I didn't feel disabled enough or blind enough to use the talking watch where you need to press the button. And that's a me thing. That's not an actual thing. But to be able to do that in a natural way is a big deal for me. I've never been able to see a watch outside with such clarity. And to be able to check the UV index just by asking Siri on my watch, I don't need to take out another device. It's the seamlessness for me. The Apple Watch does a lot. It's my fitness tracker. It's kind of like it's a really big leg up.
Is there something that you think technology could help even further for you guys right now? Like, obviously, the smartphone comes out, like, oh my God, we can use it, as you said, for the magnifier. We can use it instead of the telescope. Is there something your mind is going now and saying, oh, light bulb moment, oh, maybe technology could do this and make my life easier?
Well, Mark, I'm going to give you a little bit of guff here. You promised me at some point during this trip you were going to let me play with your Ray-Ban Meta glasses because I'm really interested by the idea of cameras being subtly embedded in glasses so it's not a gargantuan clunky device. It's something that looks a little bit more discreet and fashionable, but the way that those glasses are going to be integrated with various services that are designed to help people from the blind and low vision community, I think that is the pure accessibility connection. But for me, I can even see the functionality of looking for a street sign and using the glasses to snap the picture, not having to pull out the phone. It goes back to what Jenny said, limit the amount of devices I need to schlep around with me. So I find the idea of those glasses, if you ever let me play with them, to be quite fascinating.
Look at that. He's razzing me. They're back there, I swear. I'll let you get. Jenny, what about you? Anything?
The schlepping is real. I agree wholeheartedly with what Dave has said. And another thing that I really love is that dark mode is picking up steam.
Oh yeah.
It's on Apple devices. It's on your word processors. It's Google. It's everywhere. And I love dark mode. With albinism, a lot of us struggle with light sensitivity, and it's pretty extreme. And so I love dark mode everything, more dark mode. Also, the less light we need to let the cameras see us really well, that's, I don't know how to articulate that well, but...
No, you did that pretty well. We were setting up for your show, which is coming up later on.
The more sensitive the cameras can be to light,
the better for you.
That's good for me.
I bluffed a little. I made a little bit of a mistake. I was working on technical stuff for your show that we're doing this evening, and I was in the document. I think you might have been. We were sharing a document, and I was changing the dark mode.
That was
and then
you.
Yeah, it was me. And I realized then it switched back. I'm like, oh my, what am I doing? Of course, Jenny's doing this for a reason. It's not just a. But okay, before I let you guys go, because I know we got a lot of preparation for stuff going on tonight, and if you want to follow all of it, it's on AMI TV. It's simulcast right now on AMI Audio. You can find that. By the way, Double Tap is coming on at 1. Don't worry. Tell us what to expect tonight, because you're talking about global reach. You got a lot of really cool people coming up.
I'm really pumped for tonight. I'm so amped. We have a live band, of course, the band behind the Low Vision Moments theme song. We've got people from all over the world representing different experiences with albinism, and that's really what it's all about, as well as showcasing all the awesome stuff that they're doing in entertainment, in human rights, and really every aspect of life.
So that's coming up. My time zones are all messed up. 4 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. whatever time zone we're in right now.
You got it, yes.
It's very confusing. My computer didn't update. My phone didn't update. Everybody offset is like, come on, you're ignoring us. Thank you for taking the time to join me now. Dave, thank you for being here. And you're going to both be here all day. So if you tune in, of course, later on YouTube, where Low Vision Moments will be streaming, of course, AMI audio. And we're going to take a quick break here on Access Tech Live, because coming up, as I said, the National Hockey League is making some pretty cool history. The current Stanley Cup Final is being broadcast in American Sign Language. But how did it come to be? We'll find out from the guy behind the play-by-play after this.
There's more Access Tech Live to come. Get involved and have your say at Access Tech Live on social media. We'll be right back.